Well, another day, another video of me coping, hoping, begging, and wishing, and of course pleading for Ori to go on the PlayStation. I feel like every time I go to the Ori Discord server, I keep getting reminded of course, Ori 1 and Ori 2, or also known as Ori and the Blind Forest, and the sequel Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and of course struggling to hang into that thin thread of hope for Ori to go to the PlayStation. Now, there is like a little bit of news that I found in an article that Moon Studios does trust, and is the CEO of Moon Studios, Thomas Mandler, saying that he agrees with the path that Phil Spencer is taking with the Microsoft business update that they discussed in the official Xbox podcast with Sarah Bond and Matt Booty a couple months back. To start it briefly, it says Thomas Miller explains why Moon Studios decided, quote unquote, not to move forward with Microsoft for their latest game, No Rest for the Wicked. He says, yep, we had this big vision from the start, and we already had a ton of PlayStation fans begging for ports of Ori even back then. So it was clear to us that since Wicked was to become a multiplayer game, we wouldn't want to be locked onto a single platform, especially since we knew our competitors wouldn't be either. Mandler goes on to compliment Microsoft's present stance, saying, that's why I love Phil's direction for Xbox. If we would have signed Wicked with Xbox back then, it would have become an Xbox exclusive. I think Xbox is more open now to support all games on all platforms, and frankly, that's something I'd love Sony to adopt as well. If we want to see our industry grow, we want to stop gatekeeping and make access to entry as simple and affordable as possible to everyone. And that I do agree. Now, in the sense that Thomas Mandler agrees and supports the stance that Phil Spencer is doing for the direction of Xbox. On top of that, Phil Spencer confirming that more exclusives are going to different consoles and to different screens, with some other news that Party Animals has most definitely and probably likely that's going to have a PlayStation port. I honestly do think that there's going to be some hope that Ori is also going to be having it in the same direction, that being for a PlayStation port for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4, or PlayStation 5 specifically, just like Hi-Fi Rush. I also wanted to add this on since there is a mention about Ori 3. In the article it says, it is quite the change as both Ori games were published by Xbox Game Studios. Moon Studios is of course completely focused on No Wish for the Wicked, which launched into early access on Steam last month and is set to come to Xbox Series X and S in the future. While Ori 3 isn't in development, we do know that Moon Studios has ideas and even entitled for a hypothetical third Ori game. Although Mandler also says that Moon Studios doesn't own the Ori IP, and that just because Moon is too busy at the moment doesn't mean that Microsoft won't hire some studio to do it. Alright, so since that Thomas Mandler has ideas and a title for a hypothetical third Ori game, I honestly do think that is pretty cool to know that. But also, when it happens or when they start doing the development, I do want to vouch as being one of the voice actors and one of the characters. It could be a boss or it could be a helpful NPC in the third Ori game. I just wanted to be a helping hand and contribute to the development setting of the third installment to the Ori trilogy, the hypothetical Ori trilogy, once No Rest for the Wicked is fully finished. And I honestly do hope that happens, and hopefully I'll live long enough to do so, because the world is crumbling. Like, not just realistically speaking, but also on the news, and I'm still fighting my mental battle, if you catch my drift. With all that aside, that's just me making this little quiet video, because it is currently 1:30 in the morning of me recording this video. Hopefully I'll upload this. That's all I gotta say. This is Wolf Dog Gray, and I'll see you all later. See ya. And I still have hopes for Ori going to the PlayStation. This has been a somewhat of a silent protest that I've been doing for the past 2 years of me hoping that Ori's gonna be on the PlayStation. I have been waiting for 2 years for this to happen. I've been making over a dozen tweets. I've been making over a dozen videos. Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. When I was on the Ori Discord server, and I said that there is a chance that Ori's gonna be on the PlayStation, I was made fun of. I was being laughed at. I was even being insulted. I was being mocked by when I kept saying that there is gonna be a chance of Ori gonna be on the PlayStation. Everybody did not believe me. I have been praying to my ancestors for 2 years for this game to be finally ported to the PlayStation, and I will finally have my answer. I feel like this video was predictable. So yeah, Ori on the PlayStation is not true, and it was never real to begin with. It's just a dream. This is my hopes of Ori being on the PlayStation, Ori and the Blind Forest, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps for the PlayStation. There are people on Twitter hoping for Ori 1 and Ori 2 to become ported to the PlayStation. This is Wolf Gray, and here's my hopes for Ori going to the PlayStation, and hopefully it'll be coming out this year because I'm very confident. I don't know if it's today or tomorrow. Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps is coming to the PlayStation. Hopefully, Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps gets ported to the PlayStation. That there's still a chance for Ori to be ported to the PlayStation. And hopefully Ori goes to the PlayStation. Here's to Ori going to the PlayStation. Of my dedication of Ori going to the PlayStation. I'm still waiting for the port of Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Ori 3 is gonna happen, and maybe there's some possibility for Ori to be on the PlayStation. I still have hopes for that. Of my hopes of Ori going to the PlayStation. I'll admit I did sounded pretty crazy when I said I still have hope for Ori going to the PlayStation, which I still stand by it. My hopes of Ori going to the PlayStation. Me hoping that Ori goes to the PlayStation. Me hoping for Ori going to the PlayStation. My hopes of Ori going to the PlayStation. Ori to the PlayStation. Phil Spencer, thank you. And I'm waiting for that port for both Ori 1 and Ori 2. And when that does, the PlayStation community can revive the Ori series and not only make that a benefit for the game, but also widen the reputation of Moon Studios that created this masterpiece.